Hello all, John here with some thoughts for the 6th Sunday of Easter. Welcome, thank you, and on bird clocks and paying attention. My wife and I have in our kitchen one of those National Audubon Society singing bird clocks. It's decades old, this thing, and all the coloring on all the birds has faded to a very soft blue-gray. Only the American robin, the Baltimore oriole, and the northern cardinal cling to some whisper of spent orange or red from their original plumage. And this clock is on a side wall in our kitchen off the main room, so you don't really see it unless you know to go looking for it, which is probably why my wife asked me just the other day if I wanted to get rid of it. Now, believe me, had she asked me this of any number of decades-old things in this century-old house, I would have said yes in a heartbeat. But the bird clock? I said no, and I gave nostalgia for my reasons. For one thing, it was given to us by our friend Lulu, and not always, but generally speaking, if I cherish the friendship, I cherish the gift. And for two things, there's that great Paul and Annie story. Our son Paul essentially grew up with this bird clock, so like me, he's become used over the years to the hourly call of, say, the black-capped chickadee or the downy woodpecker or the belted kingfisher. Not so his then girlfriend and now wife Annie. So I chuckle every time I think about this when they were down for a visit years and years and years ago. It was approaching the lunchtime hour, and we were working in the kitchen, the three of us, on a counter not far from that wall where the bird clock is hanging, and before you know it, it's noon. And so this great horned owl positioned on the noon hour on the clock screeches its presence to make us all know what time of day it is. And you're probably way ahead of me on this, but Paul and I, we're familiar with this. You know, we don't even hear it. So it's sort of like living next to the blue line, which we do going out to O'Hare, or living under a flight path to O'Hare, which we often do. After a while, these noises become so much white noise, and you don't even hear it. Annie heard it, though, and Annie just stopped what she was doing and kind of looks around almost fearfully and said, "What is happening?" It was hysterical. So when my wife asked me, should we get rid of the bird clock? Of course not. Her reaction that day, Anne's reaction, reminds me in a good way that it's not good to get too complacent with things. The singing bird clock is just a minuscule example, but we're surrounded by all sorts of coolness every day that we perhaps take for granted that we shouldn't take for granted. I wrote a poem forever ago, and one of the lines is, "Delight in every hush and trumpet call." What I was trying to say is, take delight in the big things, the trumpet calls, of course, but also take delight in the small things, the hushes of life, because we probably spend most of our time there. The big things, the trumpet calls, of course, are beautiful sunsets and glorious dawns, but the small things, the hushes, how about a good cup of coffee? How about drawstring trash bags? How about sticky notes? They're all simple, mundane things perhaps, but they're all wonderful things as well. Today's gospel is taken from a section of John's gospel called Jesus' farewell or Last Supper discourse to his friends. And in it, he gives his disciples essentially a master class in discipleship. And he uses several pithy phrases like, "Whoever loves me will keep my commandments, and peace I leave with you, and do not let your hearts be troubled." And perhaps he uses these little pithy phrases to make his teachings easy to remember. And it worked because centuries later, we're still remembering them. Unfortunately, sometimes, like the priest's words at consecration perhaps, even Christ's own words can wash over us like so much white noise because we've heard them so many times before. I don't know about you, but I often need Annie's words reminding me so awesomely and fearfully ask, "What is happening?" And then to step back and truly appreciate the sacred response. Hey, thanks. Peace, John.